Alright, got the screws out. I'll put some silicone down inside this. So, wish me luck. Here's a NIC Pro, which is what he used in the video. So, I wanted to stay the same here. Okay. So I'll mix this up. If I have any problems, I wanted to at least document it. Two little screws were a pain. You do have to use a heat gun. Tried to use the tip of a solder gun, but that didn't work out. I didn't want to strip the screws. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, this is mixed 1 for 1. So I just want to kind of keep it documented. I'm going to put this up against this in case it just want to lean back, of course, from the weight. I have to, let's do this, actually. There we go, much better. Can't believe I'm doing this to this. It's kind of eek. Talking about a $500 bass knob. However, the owner of the company's in the know, so I kind of volunteered. Alright, just got that on the front. I got it. Use the light of that camera. I was going to put tape on it like he did, but I did not because I figured I'd be very, very careful. And then I go and do that. So, I'll shine up here a little bit. It's in there well. I don't want to go any higher because this has a little bit of depth. As you can see a little bit here. I can still put it down in there and it doesn't look like it'll touch it. So, I did not want to go too high to where it was like coming out. That would have been terrible. Worst case scenario in my eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back on just because I feel comfortable with what level that was at. I'll stay there. Let me grab the screws. These I'm just going to put in there for now. I will put Loctite back on them, but just for now, I'm just going to put them in just to have them in. And yes, out of all screwdrivers, I ended up having to use a cheap eyeglass one. The whoa, I got some of my finger here. The size of Phillips is very small, so I didn't break out the toolbox. I seen the eyeglass one when it worked, so good enough until this dries. I will remove it and put some dot of red Loctite on the end and put the screw back in, and it will not ever come out again. Again, use a heat gun. Oh, I didn't go all the way there. Okay. Alright, and we are good for now. So, we'll see how it works out. Is that? Okay. Okay, so I had silicone literally come out everywhere. I'm still fighting it. I sent a message to LF Audio. I'm waiting to hear back from him. I did notice he had splotches like all over. So I know he battled it some, I could tell on the top. Or that he had at least had to wipe it off, I could tell. But here is the battle. It's coming out of where the charge port is and where the on and off is. I had tape on that, but the tape wasn't sticking very well. And then when I noticed I was going to replace it quickly, But I noticed, well, it was already coming out of there anyway. And I was like, well, if the tape were to have stayed on it and it dried, it would have just like completely been filled with silicone and flush. So I don't know what he did there. Hopefully he messages me back. I'm going to get a paper towel, what I've been doing, folding it into a very crease like that and sticking it up in there. But I'm impatiently waiting for it to dry some. And then I noticed if I go back too much this way, I had it coming out of right here. And a little bit around the seam because I didn't totally wrench these down earlier. Like I was going to put Loctite back on them. So yeah, this is interesting. I did not expect that. I honestly thought this part down here was separate somewhere along here. The way he was just pouring it in there. He had tape on the bottom like I did. I mean, I did that too, but he didn't say nothing about it coming out. So that's interesting. I mean, it does look like it's clearing up. However, you know, it's still going to be coated with silicone. I imagine I'd still be able to get that over and turn it on. I had to use a pick. What I'm really concerned about is the coating on all the little prongs in there for the charge port. I don't know if after this dries, if I can use a heat gun and then go like that, and I don't know. I wouldn't think that that would work after it dries. Oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Alright, well that was my update. You can see it's still coming out. Still, so to be continued. Okay, I'm starting to feel a lot better about it. It's calming down there. I'm coming out. My daughter had a good idea, toothpick. I was using a napkin and folding into a very, very sharp corner, like so, and then pushing that really, really flat and wedging this up in here, like so. She had got a toothpick, got behind it, and kind of dug to the side, and a big wad of silicone came out. So, confident about the charge port now, a little bit, pretty confident. Not totally, but pretty. Where you turn it on and off, that's looking a lot better. That's where the most just came out, silicone-wise. It does look like you can, if I can't use a toothpick, I could use like a actual, like a pick, craftsman pick. I have like a tool. Of course, I'm not going to do it now. This is wet. I don't want to turn it on. Looking back at the video, I think he had his on even, which is surprising. I thought it would be off, but I did see the light on up here whenever he may have done that to have it on because of this, or he may have seen it pouring out of the end of this and turned it on thinking like I did and am I going to be able to turn it on later? I don't know. To be continued. Alright, last video on this. As you can see, it works. I will not lie, I panicked. When doing this, definitely put hot glue down in here and in where, you know, the charging port, because I could only get the charging end about halfway in, but it still charges, and this was painful getting it to turn on. So, lesson learned there. Other than that, it works good. Did make it significantly heavier, which I kind of like, actually, really. Also, the knob is not, it doesn't click as much. I put this on. Now, the circuitry that goes to this knob did not get submerged, per se, in the silicone. However, I don't know why it don't clicky anymore. It was kind of a click. Now, I mean, it still does it, but for some reason it's smooth. I don't know why. It's smoother. Not all the way, but smoother. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe some silicone didn't get in something, I guess, apparently. That stuff's so thin, too. That's another thing, last thing. It will literally come out. If you don't tape up things, it will come out around the glass, or I say glass, whatever this is, display. Yeah, I had it even coming out there. And I had a very good towel. Thank God. It was coming out of the seam on the bottom. I just recommend tape. Do it well after you, of course, use hot glue on the ports. Tape the bottom, put a piece of tape across the bottom, and then go another painter's tape, good stuff. Don't be using junk. And then go around, and then do the display using your nail or screwdriver or something. I guess not a screwdriver. I use my nail. I guess a plastic, you could use a plastic poppet tool or something. But I just use my nail, go around that. Problem I had still, one last thing, was it was so thin that my tape was old. And what I noticed when I was, it's all I had, but it wasn't sticking as good as it used to. So use good tape. Otherwise, it will start coming unstuck and start sliding. And then once I did that, I knew I had silicone coming out, so I had to just pull the tape. And then I had a terry cloth, which absorbs great, so use one of those. Or if you have one of those, keep it handy by you. But yeah, other than that, I'm glad I did it. So, experiment complete. Now I was going to show off my little cable here I made. Got me a nice little twist going on with it. So yeah, alright. That's all I got.